The King's Dream. The inscription is sculptured on a round-topped stela of red granite, 14 feet high, set up in the little temple which lies between the paws of the Great Sphinx. The temple was excavated by Captain Caviglia in 1817. It forms the end of a processional way which leads downwards by paved causeways and flights of steps from the edge of the desert into the sanctuary. The tiny shrine is only 10 feet long by 5 wide, and at its farthest end, with its back to the breast of the Sphinx, stands this stela. The inscription, which is in horizontal lines, is surmounted by a scene, duplicated to right and left, of the king making a libation of water and burning incense before the figure of a sphinx couched upon a pylon or altar. The lower half of the stela is so mutilated that the inscription is either destroyed or illegible. The inscription purports to be the time of Thutmose IV, a king of the 18th dynasty, about 1400 BC, erected by that monarch as a votive offering. But from the evidence of the language in which the inscription is couched, it is obviously much later. Erman dates it to be a period between the 23rd and 26th dynasties. It may, however, be a restoration of an earlier record, though of the early inscription nothing remains. The King's Dream. Long, long ago lived Thutmose, king of Egypt. Lord of the two lands was he, wearer of the double diadem, he whom the gods loved. He was not that Thutmose, the mighty bull who conquered Syria, Nubia, and the 9 archer tribes, but he bore the same name and was a great and valorous king. Syria bowed before him, Nubia was his servant, and he trod the 9 archer tribes beneath his feet. When he was a child, he was like unto Harpocrates, the son of Isis, he who was born in the marshes of the north country. Beautiful was he with the beauty of the gods, in form like Horus, the avenger of his father. And in all manly sports did he excel. He hunted the wild game on the deserts both north and south of Memphis. He coursed the lions and the deer. He shot arrows at a target. He drove in his chariot, and his horses were fleeter than the wind. Alone did he hunt, or with 2 companions only, and none knew the path that he would follow, for in the desert none live save wild beasts. When his followers required rest in the heat of the day, he took them to the great statue of Harmachis, close to Kir-Aha, where the road of the god leads eastward to On. Of stone was this mighty figure, hewn out of the living rock, his face the face of a man, stern and majestic, turned to the rising sun, his body the body of a lion. Upon his brow is the death-dealing snake with head erect, ready to strike. Men called this figure Harmachis, and the Sphinx, and the father of terrors. Great and exalted is this figure of the god, resting in his chosen place. Mighty is his power, for the shadow of the sun is upon him. The temples of Memphis and the temples of every town on both sides adore him. They stretch out their hands to him in adoration. Sacrifices and libations are made before him. One day, ere Thutmose was yet king, before he had ascended the throne of Horus the Living One, it came to pass that he hunted alone in the desert, and it was noontide. Very fierce was the heat, very blinding the sunbeams, and he rested in the shadow of the great god. And as he rested, heated and weary, in the coolness of the shadow, sleep heavy and deep came upon him at the moment when the sun reached the zenith. Thus he slept at broad midday, and in his sleep dreams and visions came to him. In his dream he stood before the giant figure of the god, but no longer was it of stone, for behold, it was the god himself. The breath of life was in him, and his lips moved, and he spoke with gentle speech as a father speaks with his child, for his words were the words of blessing. "See now, O my son Thutmose," he said. "Look at me, behold me. I am thy father, I, who am Harmachis, and Ra, and Khepera, and Atmu also. For I am the sun god to whom all lands are subject. Through me alone shall the kingdom of Egypt come to thee. Thou shalt wear the white crown of the southland, and the red crown of the northland. Thou shalt sit upon the throne of Geb, the inheritor. To thee shall belong the whole land in its length and breadth. that land which the universal Lord makes glorious. Want and trouble shall never come nigh thee, for gifts shall be brought to thee from every country, near and afar. The duration of thy life shall be for many years. My face shall be towards thee, and my heart shall incline to thee if thou wilt do for me that which I desire of thee." And Thotmes looked, and he saw that the figure lay half buried in the sand, and it seemed as though the god struggled to free himself, for naught but the head appeared above the plain, and the sands came up about him like the waves of the sea when they swallow up a ship that is on the rocks. Then the majesty of the god spoke again and said, "The sand of the desert on which I rest is about me. It overwhelms me, it covers me. Hasten to do that which my heart desires, for I know that thou art a son who honors the behests of his father." Sleep fell from the eyelids of Thotmes, and he awoke. Here the inscription is broken away, and the end of the story is not known.